You have seen rust before, on an old bicycle left outside, on a forgotten gate, on metal that was once strong, slowly turning weak under air, moisture, and time. You know how it happens. It starts quietly, a thin layer, a change in color. Then, over years, it spreads. Flakes, cracks, collapse. Now imagine leaving that same piece of metal somewhere else, not in rain, not in wind, but in a place where the air itself crushes you, where the sky burns, where even rocks can behave like something alive under pressure. Imagine leaving it there and walking away, not for a day, not for a year, but for 43 years, and then coming back. You expect nothing to remain, no shape, no memory, no trace. But that is not what happened. In the 1970s and early 1980s, humanity sent machines to the surface of Venus, small armored probes, built like tanks. They were never meant to survive long. Most were designed to last less than an hour, because Venus is not just hot. It is 460 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead, hot enough to turn metal soft if given time. And the pressure, it is more than 90 times stronger than what you feel right now, like being nearly a kilometer underwater, except the ocean is made of air, thick, heavy, crushing. The sky is filled with carbon dioxide and clouds of sulfuric acid, not clouds you can see through, not clouds that pass, permanent. The surface is dim, orange, silent, a world without wind as we know it, but with weight pressing down on everything, always. This is where we sent machines, and they landed. They touched the ground, they transmitted images, they worked for minutes. Some lasted just over an hour, and then they stopped. Silence. For decades, no one went back, no one could. The technology was not ready. The cost was too high, the challenge too extreme. So those machines stayed, alone, still sitting where they landed, on a world that does not forgive. And here's the strange part. They are still there, not gone, not erased, not even buried the way you might expect. They are still on the surface of Venus, right now, but they do not look the same. Time on Earth slowly eats metal. Time on Venus transforms it. Because on Venus, time is not gentle. It does not wait. It presses, it cooks, it changes everything it touches. What happens to a machine left in hell for 43 years? What does it become? And if you could stand there today, beside one of those probes, would you even recognize it as something human? That is where this story begins, and it only gets stranger from here. You are standing on Venus. The ground beneath you is solid rock, dark, cracked, ancient. There is no sound of birds, no wind brushing past your ears, only pressure. You would not feel it slowly. It would crush you instantly. 92 times Earth's atmospheric pressure. That means every square meter of your body would carry the weight of nearly 9,000 kilograms. It is not just heavy. It is absolute. Now imagine a machine designed to survive this. The Venera probes were not elegant. They were not sleek like modern spacecraft. They were spheres, thick-walled, reinforced, more like deep-sea submersibles than space explorers. Because that is what Venus is, an ocean of air. When Venera 13 landed in 1982, it survived for 127 minutes, just over 2 hours. In that time, it sent back images. The first color images ever taken from the surface of Venus: rocks, flat ground, a horizon blurred by dense atmosphere. Then it stopped. Not because it failed suddenly, but because the heat slowly pushed through its defenses. Electronics overheated, systems degraded, until silence took over. Now fast forward 43 years. The probe is still there, but it is not the same machine. Start with the temperature. 460 degrees Celsius is not just hot, it is hot enough to soften many metals over long periods, not melt them instantly, but weaken them. Over decades, that matters. The outer structure of the probe, built from titanium and steel, would begin to change. Slowly, quietly. Metal expands when heated. Now imagine that happening constantly. No cooling, no night relief, because a day on Venus is longer than a year. One rotation takes 243 Earth days, but a full orbit around the Sun takes only 225 Earth days, which means the Sun rises incredibly slowly and sets even slower. But here's the catch. The thick atmosphere traps heat so effectively that day and night barely matter. The temperature stays almost the same, always hot, always heavy, so the probe never cools, not once in 43 years. That constant heat causes metal fatigue. Tiny expansions and contractions, small but relentless, build stress over time. Bolts loosen, seals degrade, surfaces warp, not dramatically, but enough. Now consider the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide, thick and dense, fills the air, mixed with traces of sulfur dioxide and other corrosive gases. These are not gentle chemicals. Over time, and they react with exposed materials, not like rust on Earth, but similar in effect. Slow chemical change. The probe's outer surfaces would darken, not from burning, but from reaction. A dull, altered skin. The bright metallic shine it once had, gone, replaced by something darker, heavier looking, older. Now look at the ground. Venus does not have rain like Earth. No flowing rivers, no oceans, but it does have weather in a different way. The thick atmosphere moves slowly, but it carries fine particles, dust, tiny fragments of rock. Over decades, these particles settle. They accumulate, not in thick layers, but enough to coat surfaces. Imagine leaving a car in a dusty desert for 40 years. Now remove the wind that cleans it. The dust stays. On Venus, it builds. So the probe would not be buried, but it would not be clean. Its surfaces would be coated in a thin layer of fine material, softening its edges, blurring its details. Now here is something that changes everything. On Earth, we expect time to destroy things quickly when conditions are extreme. But Venus is different, because while it is incredibly harsh, it is also stable. There is no rain to wash things away, no strong winds to topple structures, no flowing water to erode. So while the environment is deadly, it is also still. This means the probes are not torn apart. They are preserved. Slowly altered, yes, but still standing, still shaped, still there. That is the strange balance of Venus. It kills quickly, but preserves over time. Now imagine walking up to one of these probes. You would see a low, rounded structure, partially coated in dust, darkened by decades of chemical reactions. Its cables stiff, its surfaces aged. The camera lenses, once clear, would likely be clouded, not shattered, just no longer transparent. The parachute that once helped it land? Gone. Not blown away, but degraded. Materials not designed for long-term survival would break down faster. Fabric would weaken. Fragments might remain nearby, but not intact. And then there is the silence. No movement, no sound, just a machine that worked, and then stopped, frozen in time. Here is the moment that hits hardest. These probes are the only human-made objects ever to sit on another planet and survive in such extreme conditions for decades. Mars rovers move. The Moon has gentle conditions. But Venus tests the limits. And those machines passed, at least partially. They are still there, more right now. While you sit here, reading this, On another world, beneath a crushing sky, small machines built by human hands are still resting exactly where they landed, unvisited, unchanged in position, for over 4 decades. And here is the question that makes this real. If we went back today, if we landed next to them, what would it feel like to stand beside something humanity touched and then left behind in a place like that? Would it feel like discovery? Or like finding something we were never meant to see again? Now step back, not just from the probe, not just from Venus. Step back from the idea itself, a machine built on Earth by human hands, traveling millions of kilometers through space, surviving the descent through a crushing atmosphere, touching a surface no human has ever touched, and then staying there, long after the people who built it have grown older, some of them gone. The probe does not know this. It does not know time has passed. It does not know it succeeded. It does not know it is still there. But we do. And that changes everything. Because those machines are not just objects, they are moments, frozen, a snapshot of human effort, curiosity, and risk placed on another world and left behind. You can think of them as ruins, not ancient in the way of lost civilizations, but something else, future ruins, created the moment they were built, because we always knew they would not last long, and yet they lasted longer than expected, not in function, but in presence. And there is something quiet about that. On Earth, nothing stays untouched. Weather changes things. Life grows over them. Time erases. But on Venus, time presses down, but does not sweep away. So those machines remain, not alive, not active, but present, still part of that world now, part of its surface. If you could stand there, you would not hear them. No hum, no signal, just silence. And maybe that is the most human part of all. We send things out into the universe knowing they will fall silent. Satellites lose power. Probes stop transmitting. Signals fade. But the objects remain, floating, sitting, drifting. Pieces of us, scattered across space. The Venera probes are among the most extreme examples of this, not just far away, but in a place so hostile that it feels almost impossible they ever worked at all. And yet they did. For minutes. And those minutes changed what we knew about an entire planet. Now imagine the future. One day, we will go back. Better technology, stronger materials, longer missions. We will land again on Venus. And when we do, we might find them. Not as they were, but still there, waiting. Not for rescue, not for repair, just waiting. And in that moment, something strange will happen. We will be looking at our own past, on another world, a message without words, a reminder that even in the most hostile places, we reached, we tried, we touched, and then we left something behind. Not perfect, not permanent, but real. And maybe that is enough, because the universe does not remember us. Planets do not care. Time does not stop. But for a brief moment, on a world of fire and pressure, we were there. And a small, silent machine is still proving it, still.